Hello and welcome to another episode of Attacking Third CBS Sports Soccer Podcast. It's me, Sandra, lead NWSL writer for CBS Sports. Joined today, as always, by my colleague and co-host Lisa Roman, broadcaster and analyst for CBS Sports. We're going live one more time to react to the United States women's national team clinching a spot in the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. We just went live to recap their 5-0 victory over Jamaica. And now we're back to react to them clinching a spot. They did so by having that first lopsided victory against Jamaica, and then they needed to see the match between Haiti and Mexico, because if Haiti earned a result against tournament host Mexico, the United States were on their way to the 2023 World Cup. And that's how it played out. Lisa, I just saw you. How you doing today?
I'm so good. The United States, they're headed to Australia and New Zealand 2023 Women's World Cup. It will be their 9th World Cup. This is huge for the United States. It is 1 a.m. Eastern on the East Coast here, and I am excited. I stayed awake for that game. I mean, how could I not? I was always going to watch that game, but then the implications coming after that game for the United States, and maybe if you asked me this morning, before any of these games happened, what would have happened between Haiti and Mexico, I would have said that Haiti would not get a result. And man, did Haiti surprise and show up. And we've got to talk about that game, but we've also got to talk about the United States, because they're the first Concacaf nation to qualify for the Women's World Cup in 2023. A huge job well done by Vlatko Andonovski and the entire roster in the United States women's national team. Huge congratulations to them.
It's no easy path to the World Cup. I think people are getting reminded of that tonight in this Concacaf W Championship. And that's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking about this journey for this United States women's national team to this World Cup, because it's taken a few twists and turns along the way. There was we got introduced to a pandemic, a global pandemic that shifted things around in terms of the cycle for the competitive calendar. And we've seen the inclusion and expansion of the player pool under Vlatko Andonovski going into this tournament specifically. So that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of, I'm looking at Sophia Smith. I'm looking at Margaret Purce. I'm looking at Naomi Girma. I'm looking at
Trinity
Alana
Rodman is
I'm
on
looking
this
at
roster.
Trinity Rodman. These are players. These are the players that clinched the spot in the 2023 FIFA World Cup. Those players. So I'm thinking of them tonight.
Exactly. And even in this match that the U.S. played earlier against Jamaica, there was no Alex Morgan. There was no Megan Rapinoe. There was no Becky Sauerbrunn. There was no Kelly O'Hara. The veterans on this roster, the veteran field players, did not even compete today in this match against Jamaica. It was goals from Sophia Smith and Trinity Rodman, and just a huge game from the U.S. And they did what they needed to do, winning against Haiti in the opening match of Concacaf W Championship, and then winning against Jamaica. And it could have come down to Monday's match against Mexico, but if Haiti got a result against Mexico tonight, which they did, an incredible 3-0 win for Haiti over Mexico, it punched the United States through. This is huge. They're now the 12th nation to have qualified for the Women's World Cup, the first of the CONCACAF nations to do it. There are still 3 guaranteed spots open for CONCACAF nations to push through to the Women's World Cup. There's a possible total of 6 because there's the Intercontinental Tournament, but the United States are the first one to do it. And huge celebrations, I'm sure, for that team as they stayed awake, watched the result, I'm sure, tweeted out, put out that they're going to the World Cup, and then they got to get to bed. They're
reacting to it. It's so cool to see. Like I said, it's just really nice to sort of see this moment finally kind of come to light, right? Literally, this tournament just started the other day. It just started the other day,
No.
and not only did they
This week.
clinch, yeah, not only did they clinch. I'm sorry, we've been doing like a million episodes. It's literally the next day for us. Literally the next day for us. So forgive me if we're the timeline is a little bit skewed for me. But it literally just got started. And so not only did this team qualify for the World Cup, they did it with a match remaining. Like
Mhm.
that is just like very impressive to me. So I just am like, uh, it's a celebratory moment for us here. I think on A3, and I think that, like I said, the journey took a lot of twists and turns, and it's been sort of wild to cover. I know for us, we are looking at the calendar as well, and we're about to be celebrating a year of attacking third and our presence, with the show, and it's just sort of cool to sort of recognize all these things kind of coming together full circle. So I'm absolutely hyped for this. I'm even more excited now for what comes next
Mhm.
for this team within this tournament. But when we're looking at this team and how they qualified during this tournament, they essentially did it in 2 games.
Huge.
They opened up the group stage against Haiti 1-3-0. They went up against Jamaica 1-5-0. And then there was a second match taking place on the second match day between Haiti and Mexico. And Haiti went out there, and not only did they take care of the business in front of them, they absolutely put Mexico to sleep. It just They went out there and they not only just picked up the win, but they picked it up emphatically. Like it was just so impressive in the way they did this. I am loving this for Haiti. Heartbroken for Mexico, of course, but watching this team play tonight and seeing the difference between that match day 1 and the evolution into match day
Mhm.
2, love it. Love to see a team get stronger through a tournament, and that's what Haiti did against Mexico.
That's exactly what they did. It was, pretty crazy to see, and watching this Haiti side, they were my dark horse coming into this tournament. Watching them throughout the Concacaf W qualifiers and seeing them score just goal after goal after goal, 44 goals in that qualifier, 0 goals against. They had the veteran leadership of Rose Lord Borgea. They had so many young players, right? Their entire roster is just incredibly young. I think they averaged the age of 21 total on the roster. And that fight that they have is just truly incredible. Even watching, going back to that first match the United States played against Haiti, Haiti put up a fight, right? They had a PK that went off the post. They had another opportunity that just skimmed wide. They had a great breakaway opportunity that Casey Murphy saved. And tonight, against Mexico, this Haiti side, they came out and fighting, swinging with everything they had. Rose Lord Borgea had another opportunity from the spot, and she was not missing this one. I mean, we have to look a little bit at this game and how it happened between Mexico and Haiti, because
Yeah, for sure. Let's
Haiti
do it.
coming away with 3 goals, and 3 goals all off of set pieces. 2 of them penalty kicks, one of them a free kick opportunity, but ultimately getting the win, and it becoming a choppy game towards the end of it. But I think Haiti did so well to capitalize on the opportunities that they were given, whether it was the PK coming early in this match or another PK coming later. And despite Mexico controlling a lot of the possession, especially throughout the first 45 minutes of this match.
Yeah, I think it was evident for me. I mean, just, as someone who's followed the Mexican women's national team for a very long time, I could just sort of see, like, in the opening 5 minutes of this game, that it just had another layer of familiarity around it, similar to what we saw with Mexico going up against Jamaica. Just was off. Some didn't
Mhm.
feel right. And sure enough, we just saw the wheels fall off as this game continued to progress. I mean, everything that you could think of to go wrong within your game plan if you're Mexico went wrong in this game. You're talking about not just one penalty kick, conceded, but two in this game. It's tough enough of a night if you're giving one up, But 2, that's really, really tough to come back from. And the timing in which these happen too, I think are also very telling within this game. You're talking about in the opening 15 minutes to start this game, and then just past the hour mark when you're coming out of the second half and the game is still somewhat manageable at this point. You're talking a 1-0 scoreline,
Completely.
you
Yeah.
know, and you're looking to try to play your way into the game or get something back in some type of way. So, you know, I love this for Haiti because we talk about this tournament as a whole on attacking third. Yes, we do the previews and the recaps for USWNT, but we've been talking about all the teams here. I mean, choosing Lisa going with Haiti as a dark horse, me going looking with Mexico and saying they've got the pressure on them. They've got everything to prove in this one. And that was something that I was keeping an eye on, quite frankly, when it came to this team in this tournament. They absolutely had all the pressure on them going into this one. So there's going to be a lot, I think, that comes out of around this team where naturally the finger is going to be looked at the coach. People are going to be asking a lot of Monica Vergara and her team, and quite frankly, their preparations, their tactics, or lack thereof within this tournament and what that means for them. Sure. Are they technically eliminated from qualifying for the World Cup? No, they're not technically eliminated. Is it going to take literal miracles
Yeah.
for them to find a path through to the World Cup? Absolutely. I don't know if you're someone who's even just a neutral watching this competition, or if you're someone who is vested in the Mexicans, you know, into Mexican soccer. I don't know if you are on either side of that spectrum and look at this scenario for Mexico and say, okay, so you lost against Jamaica, you lost against Haiti. That's okay. There's still one more left. You just got to beat the United States women's national team by a plethora of gold, and you need a different result in this other game. I don't know if you just sort of like you echo
A
that, like
lot.
it's just like the chillest, most easiest day at work. That is a very difficult day at work. That is going to be the hardest day at work for this Mexican women's national team. And they just had 2 losses in this tournament as host. So they're sitting at the bottom of the table right now. If you're watching us live on YouTube, you could see the standings here. Got USA clinching their World Cup spot with 6 points. Haiti jumped in the standings of this Group A into second place with 3 points and their win over Mexico, and Jamaica has
Because
fallen
of that goal differential, right? So it comes down to
massive
goal differential, and for Haiti getting 3 over Mexico was huge because the United States only got 3 over Haiti, so their goal differential coming into this now is 0. So that was huge. Whether that was a game plan or not, for Haiti, just get 3, just get 3. It worked out in their favor because 3 goals. They had another one that was called back after a bit of VAR review in this match against Mexico. It could have been 4-0 over Mexico.
Yeah, that's the other side of it too, is that it's you look at, like I said, we're looking at the goals that occurred, the timing in which they occurred, and the truth is that the scoreline actually could have been much bigger. You know, and again, just everything that you could think to go wrong within this match going wrong. I mean, the devastating injury that took place to Rebecca Bernal. Hopefully she's, you know, continues to heal back from that. We saw you reported that it was something around the clavicle. So hopefully that is what it is, and she continues to, you know, have a successful rehab with that. But a player off, one of your starting center backs off, you lose your next starting center back in Greta Espinosa
To a red card.
You know, bad foul.
And this is also where we see VAR coming in again.
Yeah.
I just mentioned how Haiti had a goal called back due to a VAR call and a handball. This one initially a yellow card, and upon further review using VAR, it's determined that she was the last player back, and because of that, it's a red card.
Yeah.
And before you know it, in the span of 5 minutes, Mexico has lost both of their starting center backs.
Yeah.
Truly devastating, right? As you said, everything that could go wrong for this Mexican side really did. And honestly, anything that could go right for the Haiti side, it did. They were able to draw 2 penalty kicks, draw another set piece outside of the box because, right, without those set pieces and without those stoppages of plays with the 2 PKs and the free kick, would Haiti have gotten on the board and would they have scored? Probably not. Because they weren't able to do it in the run of play, yet they were able to capitalize on these opportunities that they were given to them. And man, Haiti can score some cool goals.
Oh my gosh. I mean, but you're talking like we're talking about this game. We're talking about these moments of, quite frankly, disaster for Mexico. But we had this moment here with this red card, and it leads to this. It was a moment of beauty, quite frankly. I mean that in all sincerity. I loved this free kick goal that took place just after the foul from Espinosa. Judy standing behind the ball, and just we see her take this, and it just the way it just sort of it had like on angel's wings. It flew into the back of the net. It was wonderful to see. And I loved the goal celebration after it as well. It was the confidence, the celebration. That's part of why I love CONCACAF so much. It's like, are there obvious like emotional vested ties in that? Like if people have ties or feel some type of way about rooting for the United States women's national team, or folks who root for Mexico. I mean, there's a different energy around this side of the game, around this side of the
Absolutely.
ball. I think when we're watching these types of tournaments, the different energy is that you want to have success for as many programs as possible. And what I think we're witnessing right now with Haiti is very special. We're talking about opening up this
Very
episode
special.
with like long journeys to these types of moments, and Haiti has been on this journey for quite some time. These are young players who have been playing together for a very long time, and it's great to watch them see this success out on the pitch during this tournament.
It truly is, and you mentioned they're so young, but they are so incredibly talented. I mean, the 3rd goal coming for Haiti in the 78th minute, and it's Jundi, just an incredible set piece, like the technicality, the skill, the curl on the ball to find the back of the net, and the perseverance throughout the entire 90 minutes of this match to fight, to crawl and scratch and stay in this game and go up early and then keep that lead and keep a shutout. It was really impressive to see and watch Haiti, even against the United States, right? Like it was such an impressive side to watch. And this is huge for Haiti moving forward, for the nation, for CONCACAF as a whole. There is a lot that can happen now for Haiti because Monday, it all comes down between Haiti and Jamaica. Monday is the day, and you
Yep.
better believe that Haiti is going to sleep with huge smiles on their face. I saw a tweet out. I think it was Steph Yang. I'm not entirely sure. I forget. But she was in Monterey and just hearing from the locker rooms just down the hall from the press box, cheers, screams, singing, dancing. And it's got to be the Haitians dancing and celebrating because this is huge. Not only did they held on against the United States, only letting up 3 goals, which that's a pretty big deal for Haiti as well. And then to get 3 over Mexico, be number 2 in the standings, and it all comes down to Monday. They can clinch with a tie or
And
a
I
win.
love that. I
I
love that
love that.
too. The Look, Haiti came out here and they completely flipped this entire
Yeah.
tournament on its head with this win tonight.
Oh,
100%.
um, I'm
100%.
I'm so
Every
happy for the United
going
States, but I'm so happy for Haiti. Like, I am so happy
like
for Haiti, and
like
I'm
is
so
this
excited.
episode really us reacting to the United States? Or are we reacting to Haiti? I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of both. But they did.
So
It's
cool.
the narratives around this tournament heading into this competition was that the final match day was probably going to be like this big down to the wire Mexico versus United States. And guess what? It ain't happening. That ain't it. That's not what's going down. It's Haiti and Jamaica. It's going to
Oh,
come down to that. There's going to be all eyes on that. People are going to be seeing what's going on and who's going to come out on top on that one to clinch that top number 2 spot. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. So I'm very, very excited for that. Congratulations once again in order for the United States women's national team. Their
Ooh.
9th World Cup appearance, the 12th, the first CONCACAF team to clinch a spot in 2023 World Cup. We're excited because we're going to get to cover more of their games and more of the action. Make sure you tune in to whenever we go live, whenever we do our previews, whenever we do recaps. Listen, it's after 1 a.m. for Lisa. It's
Yes.
after midnight for me. We're tired, but we're here with the energy. And listen, we want to thank you all so much for joining us whenever we do this. If you appreciate the work that we've been doing here on A3, we want to let you know that you can actually vote for us. We've been nominated as part of the Best Female Hosted Podcast and the People's Choice Podcast Awards. So if you would like to vote for us, if you're watching us live, we have a QR code in the corner of this episode. You can go ahead and scan that. That is going to take you to where you got to go to vote for us. You could just toggle on down to the Best Female Host category, and you can find Attacking Third. So take the time, please, to go ahead and do that for us. And everybody else, get some sleep. I know we're going to try to get some sleep as well. Thanks, everybody, for joining us here. Vote for Attacking Third at the Podcast Awards, podcastawards.com. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere you listen to your shows. We're also available as video. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Visit youtube.com/Attacking Third. And Lisa and I will be back covering the CONCACAF W Championship in depth, all tournament long, with in-depth previews and live United States Women's National Team recaps. For Sandra Herrera and Lisa Roman, this was Attacking Third.